and over again. They were there to keep the peace. And so my sympathy goes out to their families and to their loved ones. Having said that, I really I found it unbelievable because in the past almost 18, 16 years, we have gradually seen soldiers being killed from the north all the way down to the south, to the east, to the west. Soldiers are being killed in their tents at any one time. Soldiers are being ambushed and killed and slaughtered. I think really and truly we should be able to make sure that the soldiers, as you quite rightly said, that put their lives out there are not killed in this manner. They put their lives out primarily to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria and our borders, if you like, from invasion. And then to find ourselves in a position where our soldiers are being attacked either by outsiders or by Nigerians at any place is unacceptable and remains unacceptable. And of course, people like Chief E.K. Clark, INC, IYC, a lot of people have condemned it. And I also join in that condemnation of the killing of these soldiers. And again, people have been saying, even the president has said there should be investigation. The head of the military has said that there will be investigation. We are calling also for a very deep investigation to find out exactly what happened, why it happened, and how the soldiers came to find themselves in the unfortunate and unacceptable position where they were killed, if you like, in the line of duty, not necessarily fighting off external forces, but actually within Nigeria, which happens, as I said, not just in the Niger Delta, but all over the place. It is unacceptable wherever it happens in Nigeria.
All right, thank you. The Senate president, the president of the Senate, has actually said or is suspecting that whoever the masterminds of this heinous act are may not actually be from Niger Delta, because he's from there, and he believes that Niger Deltans may not be bold enough to gruesomely murder men in uniform like that. But there's an adage in my place that says that it is the rats in the house that told the one in the bush that there is some kind of fish, in the kitchen. And for whatever it is on whoever it is, there may have been some information within or some kind of conspiracy, or if you like. So how do you think that these killers you are also from Niger Delta, how best do you think the military and indeed the Nigerian government can go to fish out who the perpetrators are so that we don't end up killing innocent people at the end of the day?
Well, I mean, that is the major concern, apart from the number one concern we have of making sure that the military and the police, the military, the DSS is able to investigate and find out these people. Now, from the information, these people, the names they are calling, are known to both the police, the military, and the politicians within these areas. Unfortunately, we've come to realize that most of these things, most of these happenings are done within the political and the military system, party system. We can't, if we're going to get to the root of things, we must always speak the truth. I've always said that, because if we don't speak truth to ourselves, then we're never going to find the truth, because we're not prepared to get the truth. So, of course, right now, as I said earlier, the military has the cooperation, if you like, of Ijaw people particularly. have risen up. I think we're the first ethnic nationality within the Niger Delta that has condemned this act. Chief E.K. Clark has condemned it. INC, which is the voice of Ijaw people, IYC, which is the voice of the youth of Ijaw Nation. I am Ijaw, and I'm here condemning what has happened to these soldiers. But having said all of that, we also must find out what happened, why it happened, how were the soldiers there, who called the soldiers in, did they resolve the issues, the reasons why they were called in? These are questions that we are also asking. I've read in some places, in some WhatsApp forum, people calling on the president and the military to go the OD route. I think that would be very unfortunate, because right now I am told that people across anywhere where you have the Ijaw people are running out of their communities. Now, these people, for instance, in Bayelsa, why are people running away in Bayelsa? This thing had nothing to do with Bayelsa. It happened in Delta State. I'm not disassociating us with Delta State. I'm just saying that when things happen like this, it's not acceptable if we just say, oh, we hear they've run to Bayelsa, or we hear they are from Bayelsa. Fine. If you know where they are, pinpoint where they are and go and bring them out and evacuate them from wherever they are. But to now attack communities, kill innocent people, men and women, old people, children, as happened in Odi, because I personally and physically was in Odi a day after the late President Okadigo, the President of Senate, yes, Okadigo went there and was weeping. I went to Odi, and so nobody is going to wish, what happened in Odi on anybody. I don't know what's happened here.
All right,
we can still hear you
we can
clearly.
still hear you. We can still hear you clearly if you can hear us.
Oh, okay, you can hear me.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So yes, so we do not want a situation where the military, out of anger, will find themselves attacking innocent people. It's painful. If that was my brother, my son, my uncle, my nephew, I would be very pained. Absolutely. But we really must also appeal to the military and to look at it also from the perspective of the people that were not involved in their killing, in the killing of their fellow soldiers, that the communities that were not involved should not have to bear the brunt of the anger, if you like, of what has happened in Delta State.
All right, Anki,
we should really be cautioned.
Absolutely, and I think your points are quite salient. However, you know that when someone is grieving, and grieving not just because of the loss of another human being, but the manner in which the person was taken, those are two different, emotional experience. Not just for the military themselves, who have put in a lot of funding in training their men, but also for the families of those who have lost loved ones. The spokesperson of the military came out, and during his speech he said, "Who does that?" That was the absolute utterance that he made when he was, trying to sort of revisit the anger that, met with the killing of their soldiers. And we hear what you're saying, carefulness, due diligence, intelligence, and forgiveness. I hear that as well. But in terms of mediation, because whether you like it or not, tempers are flared. The military may want to say that, yes, they would listen, but deep down they are also hurting. We saw what Edwin Clark came out to say. They're calling out to the president to please wade in. What would be your, perhaps, maybe an explanation for, one, the statement from Edwin Clark in terms of speaking to the president, and what you expect from Mr. President at this point, because it seems like he's the only one that can retrace, because he gave them a marching order to say, fish out the perpetrators. What that means is whatever it takes. for someone who understands English. So at this point, where do you want the president to weigh in, perhaps on those utterances?
Definitely, excuse me. Definitely the what E.K. Clark had said, and I said earlier as well, we're definitely in support of. I am speaking behind of what Chief E.K. Clark had said, the IYC had said, the INC had said. I think other people have also said. It's deplorable. I saw those pictures that everybody else is referring to. So going on the strength of those pictures, definitely anybody would be horrified at any time when that, of course, nobody wants to die, not to talk of dying in the manner, killing someone in the manner in which the pictures have insinuated that these brave soldiers were killed in. But the appeal is still that the soldiers, no matter, nobody can take away from them and their families. I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother and I have a lot of siblings. So I have nephews who are in the military. And so I can imagine how I would feel if it was one of my relatives, as I said earlier, that was there. Calling on the president, you see, when people call on the president, at the end of the day, he is the president of the country. And that's why it is accepted that the buck stops with the president. And so when we appeal to the president on any issue, whether it's a man and a woman, his wife disagreeing, we may say the president should weigh in. But more seriously, it is right to call on the president. And from what I have heard, the president has called on the military. He has called on the right people to carry out a detailed investigation. I don't think that means that they should go, that the military should go from community to community, burning down those communities, killing innocent people, or making them run away. I don't think that's what the president meant. And I wouldn't think that at the end of the day, that's what the head of the military would have said to his men. So I do understand the pain and the anger of the soldiers that are told to go in and bring these people out. It is at that level that this appeal is directed. But it is also directed at the president because the last call is the president's. The last call belongs to the head of the military. And we are calling on them. Look, it doesn't matter if this has happened in Katsina or in Kaduna or in any other place where soldiers in the past how many years have been killed and ambushed. It doesn't matter where it would have been. It would just be, it is always as painful. And to say that that the expectation, therefore, should be that the military should go in when these things happen, to innocent citizens and take out the anger, the rightful anger
But
that they
Ankia, just
feel.
to come in here, just before you continue on that tide of speaking to the military, the youths involved are perhaps, as some have also reported, are from communities in the South, either from Delta State or Bayelsa State, whichever of the states. Even though on the sideline we hear the president of the Senate saying perhaps they could also be mercenaries and not necessarily, members of those communities or youths of those communities. So in calling and yearning, the yearning of, well, perhaps the Ijaw and the South stakeholders' point of view in terms of calming things down and mediation, isn't it also directly important to also speak to the community leaders about, working to find who these killers are, providing intelligence, and also giving all the cooperation that is needed regardless?
I can assure you from the contacts that I have made extensively and questions that I have asked, I'm known for one thing. I don't speak on issues unless I have information. The information I have is that the Ijaws, particularly, I can't speak for any other ethnic nationality. I know that the Ijaws are willing and are cooperating with the military. Now, for instance, let's say the military is looking for someone in my community or some people in my community. I expect them that the first place they would come to would actually be my community, because that's where they're from. Now, having come to my community, it will not be right or acceptable if they don't go to the house of the person they are looking for, and they go house to house looking for this person that does not belong in those houses. So yes, the community leaders and the Ijaw leaders are already cooperating with the military. But what we are cautioning, and that's only because we have had terrible experiences. We have had Odi, we have had Ayokromo, we have had Baramatu, we have had Tombia, we have had so many Ijaw communities where the military has gone in, where soldiers or police have been killed. And yes, definitely, most times those people are not only from a particular community. So I will not disagree with Akpabio's response when he says that these people may not necessarily be from the Niger Delta. They could be mercenaries. They could be. And this is what the military will have to find out and tell us. They could be from outside of the Niger Delta. But like you earlier said, again, that it is the rat inside. And we also have that adage as well. And like sometimes I say to people, look, if you're not from the creeks and you're just a stranger and you've never been to the creeks, how do you get to the creeks? It is such an intricate place to be in. So even if there are people that are not from the Niger Delta, particularly if they're not from Bayelsa, Rivers, or Delta, and wherever there are creeks, if you are not from those creeks, you can't enter those creeks. And so I do accept that there could be people who are from outside, but those people from outside will also have associates. And you can't find that out by killing and burning down every place in anger, as the military seems to be doing now. And I do accept, again and again I say this, because that shows the level at which we find this very condemnable, that this should happen, and that it just seems to be, we should be careful that just one Ijaw or two Ijaw persons does not make the whole Ijaw nation. And Ijaws are really known for condemning things that should be condemned. Definitely, I condemn things even when they are done by my people and they are not right. But you see, again, Akpabio has said this, but again, let us not distance the, if you like, the collaboration most of the time, I said it earlier, with politics and this sort of confrontation, if you like, with the military, with armed personnel. You cannot detach politics from this type of happening. So if we remember earlier on, Kawu Baraje, when they had the breakaway PDP before the elections that took away Jonathan, he said, and I quote, I'm looking down because I have it in my hand, and he told us that the crisis that is plaguing, if you like, the at that time of the election were done by people who were brought in to Nigeria from outside. And so when these things happen, the hand of politics also must be looked at, not just the criminals. The people who are in politics also must be looked at. Erofai also echoed that. So when we want to find answers to issues, we can't just stay at that one point. We must look backwards, and we must bring out things that were said before that time and begin to put the pieces together when you're doing that type of investigation. But the bottom line is that politicians also have to be very careful how they go about winning elections and the type of people that they associate themselves with when they are hungry for power and hungry for election.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
some of the time are the repercussions. It may not happen immediately, but it may happen, very likely it will happen after the event of winning and losing elections, because these people are used during elections and then they are left, they are abandoned,
Yes,
which was what
Anki.
happened in the 20
Okay,
in the
let me
election.
let me come in here, Ankyo. Yes, indeed. You've made a very salient point. Investigation should, be thorough, and that is what everybody is calling, out for. But nobody really in Nigeria deserves to die in the manner, that those men were killed. So let me come in here with another angle to all this conversation, where some people are thinking that the use of the military, in settling things like land dispute and even using them for personal security and all that, is being done in Nigeria, and it has gotten to a point where even the military seem not to be respected as much as they ought to be. Let me hear your voice and lend your voice on this conversation, whether you think there needs to be a change of narrative in that regard.
Absolutely. It is totally clear what the military are meant to do in any nation. The military, the people who go into the military ordinarily should be people that are special. Why do I say that? It's not everybody that will be willing to knowingly pick up a pen and sign to become a soldier, knowing fully well that the likelihood of that soldier dying before he leaves the military is very high. But now here are a group of people, a crop of people that are willing to go into that situation as a career to offer up their lives for the nation, for you and for I. And so ordinarily, these are people that we should respect as much as we respect their careers like doctors and nurses. I consider the military, the police, the DSS, so doctors, nurses, firemen, I consider them people of a very high group of people that deserve our compassion, deserve our respect, and deserve our love, because they're doing what most of us are not willing to do. I'm a mother, and I would not, as a choice of career, to advise my own ward or child to go into the military. Why? Because I'm afraid that something would happen to them. So these are realities that the military is being overused not for the purposes that they are created for, and not for the purposes they went into the military for. And so again, the government, the federal government, should show the way, should lead the way by showing respect to the military. Right now, we're taking our cue from how the government treats the military or the
Absolutely.
police or anybody. I mean, look at the salaries that they are earning. There is
All right.
a story of a soldier that was in the north, in the front,
I wanted
for
to
over
go
a
home.
year,
Yeah.
and did not get to see his family. And when he got his salary, it was 70,000.
And
And when
just
he got
before
to
we
the
go,
motor park,
because we need to
okay,
really round off and let you go for the meantime, because we have Kakaki soldiers. I know it was Judge Patron who said the soldier is the army. No army is better than its soldiers, and the soldier is also a citizen. In fact, the highest obligation and privilege of citizenship is that of bearing arms for one's country, and that I can understand from how the military feels now. But to the families of those slain, what I mean, going forward, a lot of people would expect is that, elder statesmen such and women such as yourself would also reach out to see how those lives can be helped beyond that. But thank you so much.
I mean, yes,
Don't go.
absolutely.
Don't just go,
If it is
Ankyo.
possible,
Please hold on your thoughts because we will definitely come back to you to wrap
all
up
right.
this interview. But we need to go to the social media space now to see how Nigerians are also reacting to some of the issues that are
Thank you.
trending. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Okay, so the involvement of the military in all kinds of issues that they ordinarily shouldn't be involved. So how do we strengthen the police force to be able to take charge of internal security?
Definitely, we should have a better police force that is better treated, better paid, better trained by the federal government. This is what we expect them. Secondly, as I was saying about the military itself also should take a cue, if you like, from moving forward, that the way that the ordinary soldier, the rank and file, if you like, are treated should change. I was surprised that the military were able to release photographs, if you like, and put humanity really to the story that soldiers have been killed. Now we can see the soldiers that have been killed. We can even begin to imagine, are they married? Do they have children? Are their children in school? All that sort of thing. Or were they not married? Are there one that is not married? And so on. And so anywhere a soldier is killed, we should have a picture of that soldier or those soldiers. These are some of the things that the military owes these men and women that sign up to protect Nigeria and to protect and to protect Nigerians. And the same advice, if you like, goes to the government, any government, whether this government or the future government that will come in. The priority must be, how do we get a better system of soldiers, a better system of police, a better system of people that will keep law and order. If you're paying a policeman 50,000 naira today, that is actually literally valueless when you take it to the market. How do you expect that person to lay down his life or put his life in harm's way when he has 2, 3, 4 children and he has to pay his house rent, he has to pay school fees, he has to pay his transportation and all those things? So